Um, Everyone, come on in. I want to talk about something that's been on my mind lately. We're going to talk about women's stories and the stories that women tell, and the repetitive type of things that you hear women nowadays say about men and about relationships. I have been listening a lot to women. I've been going through my own experiences, and yeah, I think some things need to be addressed. I really do think some things need to be addressed because I'm hearing a lot of stories from women about men and about relationships and about the way they think and feel about men and the way they think and feel about relationships. Baba Manny, how you doing? D Real, how you doing? So, one of the things you generally hear women say in these days and times about the men that they're with is he was abusive. Big up Ultra. Ultra's in the chat. How you doing, my brother? One of the things you hear women talk about on a regular basis is how... Sorry about that, folks. I really should give my friend this channel. Yes, you should. You should give your friend this channel. I don't see why you haven't yet. What the hell's going on? What are you waiting for? But yeah, one of the things I wanted to address is the many stories that we hear from women. And women nowadays have this, it seems to be like this uniform thing of saying that they were with someone who was toxic, who was abusive, and who was a narcissist. And I sit and listen. I sit and listen to women with these stories. And that's not to negate that there are toxic men and abusive men and narcissistic men. But it seems to me like so many women are coming across these supposed men. So then my question is, why do you keep coming across narcissistic, abusive, toxic men? What is it about you, why you keep coming across toxic, narcissistic, abusive men? That's the conversation, because it seems like this is just a story. A lot of the times, guys nowadays are listening to women, and we're just like, yeah, I mean, you say that, but I don't know if I necessarily believe you. I want to hear his side of the story, if I'm totally honest. I want to hear his side. We've heard your side, and, you know, women say the same things over and over again. You know, he was toxic, he was narcissistic, he was abusive, blah, blah. Yeah, but what were you? And who are you? And what were you like in this relationship? And we seem to get this one-sided, very lopsided story from women, and you know, we're just supposed to believe them. We're just supposed to believe women, apparently. And as long as a woman says that this is what's happened to her, then we're just supposed to believe her. Now, I watched a video today of a man that caught his woman cheating, and he said he's leaving the house. You know, he packed his stuff, he's leaving, and he actually videoed it. He filmed it, and this woman is jumping onto him. She's saying, "Please don't leave me. You know, you're not going anywhere. Sit down." All this kind of stuff, and he's had to record this and call the police on her. Now, in these types of scenarios, this was a black guy, and I think the woman was she was a white lady, right? And in these types of scenarios, let's just be honest. And she was crying, and if the police turn up at that address and they see her tears and they see him, he's automatically going to be seen as the forceful abuser, etc., etc. If she says, "Oh, he done X, Y, and Z," she's going to be believed because she's obviously crying, etc., etc. And that's one thing that women have over men. is the ability to weaponize tears. And so a lot of the time when women speak about, their stories about how their guys were and what type of relationship that they were in, all this kind of stuff, they're easily believed because they can weaponize their tears. If a woman cries, people generally say, "Oh my God, what's wrong? Oh my God, she's crying, leave her alone. She's not done anything wrong. She's just a woman." Not realizing that a lot of these women, when they don't get their own way, are able to weaponize their tears. So for me, I'm just like, I don't necessarily believe the tears. I'm not saying there aren't guys out there who are abusive. As a matter of fact, there are a lot of guys out there who are abusive. Yeah. A friend of mine called me last month, who's a female, and she was actually raped. Right? She was raped and she went through a horrific ordeal. And, the guy's been arrested, he's been put in prison, all that kind of stuff. So there are definitely men out there that do this. A lot of men out there that do this. But a lot of women make up stories to sound like the victim. A lot of women make up stories to sound like the victim in these days and times. And it's really and truly just because you didn't get your own way. Because the modern day woman is so entitled and so narcissistic that when she doesn't get her own way, she uses manipulation. Okay, she weaponizes her tears and she plays the victim. And it's very interesting that we have to be very careful as men when there are women out there that can go from aggressor to victim just like that. You can go from aggressor to victim just like that if you pour on some tears and you understand that you're a woman and you're in the position as a woman, which is a very privileged position nowadays, to just be believed because you said something. Women make up a lot of stories. I've had a woman tell people that I was abusive, and I hit her, or I pushed her, and all this kind of stuff. And I'm just like, yo, like, I'm 6'2", I'm a black man, and in that scenario, normally when you line a 6'2" black man up against, say, a 5'5" woman, and the woman says, "Hey, he hit me," 9 times out of 10, she's going to be believed. And that is something that we need to stop in this society. We need to stop just believing women. There was a hashtag out there a few years ago just saying believe women. What do you mean just believe women? What, women can't be liars? They can't be manipulative? They can't make up stories? They can't fabricate the truth? It's like, come on. I said, bro, you probably did abuse her. No, I'm a lot of things. My tongue is abusive. I don't need to physically hit anyone. If I let my mouth go on you, you probably think that you were abused. But no, I don't need to physically abuse anyone. Because it's just like, I already know how that's going to end. Like, I already know how that's going to end. Do you know what I mean? And that is part of the emasculation process that I see going on with a lot of men nowadays, where women feel like they can literally abuse men and have no repercussions. I've seen women like push a guy in his face, be up in a guy's face, like she wants to fight him. And I'm just like, what are you doing? If that guy decided to swing on you and hit you in your face, you'd play victim in a second. But guys know that type of energy. They know combative energy. As a matter of fact, going back to about 2 months ago, I was actually doing a podcast with a couple of women. And after the podcast was shot, me and one of the women on the podcast, we disagreed on the podcast, don't get me wrong. But after the podcast, she had a little bit to drink. And she was a little bit irate, a little bit hype, telling me how she felt about, what I said in the podcast. And she actually had her phone in her hand, right? So it happened to me about 2 months ago. She had her phone in her hand, and she started tapping me in my chest with her phone, while like bringing all this aggressive energy to me. And I stepped back, and her friend was there, and I said, please tell your friend to not do that to a man. Like, she doesn't understand what she's doing. Because if you bring that combative energy to a man while touching him physically, it could end It might not end the way you want it to end. Do you know what I mean? And I had to step back and say, you know what? This woman is actually in the position to get me arrested, but also emasculate me in the process. Do you get what I'm saying? And so a lot of women seek to emasculate men in these days and times, knowing that they have a whole system that is designed to believe them. And so women will be in a man's face. She'll tell him X, Y, and Z. She will berate him. She will she will verbally abuse him, right? Knowing that if the man strikes out physically, it is a wrap for him. And then he can be like, then people are like, oh, he abuses women. It's like, well, you know what? I want to know the whole story. I want to know the full story. I'm not saying there aren't abusive men out there, but I want to know, for someone who had that incident with me about 2 months ago, I didn't physically touch her. I didn't do anything after she was like physically touching me with her phone in my chest aggressively. I just said, listen, man, like, you don't know what you're doing. You really don't know what you're like. And then my question is, how do women think this is okay? How do you think it's okay for you to get physical with a man and him to not be physical with you back? I don't get it. And the only reason why is because you know that you can quickly play the victim in a split second. After being the one that initiated the physical altercation, you can play victim, because I was actually raised being told, don't hit women. No matter what you do, don't hit women. But with that mentality, right, that mentality has been the mentality of men for the past 5 decades, right? Which is now why you find a lot of men being physically abused by women. It's an emasculation process, because men have been told no matter what a woman does, she cannot be physically touched, apprehended, swung on, and all of these things. Like I said, I spoke about the case with there was a rapper and his woman, Quavo from Migos and Sweetie. Now, they had this physical altercation in a lift, in an elevator. But before that happened, she swung on him. But everyone just ignored that. It's the fact that he, physically manhandled her and took his property back. And it was like, oh my God, what's he doing to her? It's like, hang on, she swung on him. And it's like, we live in a world now, apparently, where it's okay for women to swing on men and then say, oh, he was abusive, he hit me. These are the stories that women tell. I'm telling you that a lot of the time, they do not tell the full story. And so now, when women start saying these things, I'm just like, I don't necessarily believe what you're saying to me right now, because I know there's another side of the story, and I know you're not going to tell it. For instance, even when it comes to like, women say, my child's father's a deadbeat, he doesn't see his child, or he doesn't see his children. My son's father, my daughter's father is a deadbeat, he doesn't see his children. Is it really that simple? Is it really that simple? A lot of the time, women are using manipulation tactics. They're telling the man when he can and cannot see his child. And this man doesn't want to go through the emasculation process of being constantly told what to do by a woman who's no longer his woman, right? And he says, you know what, fuck it. I'm not doing this anymore. I'm not jumping through your hoops. I'm not listening to what you're trying to tell me. It's a conversation or it's nothing. A lot of the time, women will say, my daughter's dad is a deadbeat and doesn't see his children. It's more than that. It's always more than that. It's never that simple. Men don't just, well, there are men that do it. There are many men that just walk away from their children, right? But there are many men who walk away from situations with the child's mother that is too toxic for them to deal with mentally. And they say, you know what? If you're going to play games with my children or my child, you know what? Keep them. Keep them, because I'm not going to mess up my mental health because of your control tactics. And so women tell a lot of stories, guys. Someone said it's still good practice not to hit. It's far easy for a man to end a woman if they lash out. I agree. How does this content help with the nation's growth as a people? I would say it helps by giving people the chance to be accountable for their actions. A lot of the time, people don't want to be accountable for their actions. People want to always blame other people. All the time. Listen, women will tell you stories all the time. The man was this, the man was that, the man was this, he was X, he was Y, he was Z. Yeah, but what were you like? Let me speak to him. Let me speak to him and see what he says about you. Because all of a sudden, he's narcissistic. All of a sudden, he's toxic. All of a sudden, he's abusive. But you stayed with him for this long period of time. What were you like? You know? It's just like, I don't believe these stories anymore, folks. I'm not gonna lie, I don't believe it. What is sad about this is over the years, more and more girls get this exact... Wait, this is what I'm trying to say. This generation has been taught that this generation of women have been taught that there's no accountability. They can stand in a man's face. They can stand in a man's face and act like they want to fight the guy and be all aggressive in his face as if this guy's not physically stronger than you. And it's like me going up to Mike Tyson like, yeah, well, you know what, fuck you, Mike. You know what I mean? Like, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, bro, this is Mike Tyson. He could, like, knock you out. He could knock you out with a jab. Forget a punch. He could just jab you and knock you out, right? But it's like women keep doing this to men. It's like, what are you doing? Why are you doing that to a man? I don't get it. Like, we live in a society where women can do this to men and it just be normalized. And then this is what happens. Two things happen. One, the man feels emasculated, yeah? And two, the woman feels more masculine. Because she walks around like, yeah, I told that motherfucker. It's like, yo, that's too much male energy for me right now. Women walk around like they've got a fucking erection sometimes. Do you know what I mean? It's like once they get to do that to a man, they feel like, yeah, I've done it and he didn't do shit back to me. And it's like, yo, do you not understand that that man could have taken your head clean off with one punch? He allowed you to do that. He allowed you to do that to him. But you're walking around here like you just got two nuts and a fucking dick. And I'm just like, the stories that females tell, I don't believe them. You are right, Sarah. My ex got into my face. A small argument slammed me on the wall, put her hands around my neck, and I lifted my hands up just to hold her to please back off. But this is what I'm trying to say. In that scenario, you would be the aggressor. In that scenario, you would be told you would be the aggressor. And that is the messed up thing about the situations that we now find ourselves in these modern times. We find ourselves in a place where men feel like they can't even exercise their masculinity on a woman for fear of being an abuser, you know, whatever domestic violence, blah, blah, blah. But there are a lot of women out there abusing men because of the system that we currently find ourselves in. Women are allowed to abuse men and get away with it because, and that's it, done. We're finished. Once the tears come, once the waterworks come, we are finished as men. Okay? We are finished. Especially a black guy. Hey, imagine. I'm a 6'2" black man. If a woman says, it doesn't matter what color the woman is, if she says, right, this guy done X, I'm finished. She's being believed. I'm going to jail. Like, she's being believed. I'm going to jail. It's done. It's a wrap. I've got to now defend myself against some accusation that I'm just like, listen, man, the whole society is going to see, oh, he's the black guy, he's the evil black guy, of course he done it. It's just crazy the times we live in. And men are demonized for being abusers. Men are demonized for being rapists. They're demonized for being narcissistic and toxic and all this kind of stuff. Hang on, what'd you say? Also, this changes men in the long term. They will become less masculine if it happens to them. It has to do more with neuropsychology. I agree. This is why men nowadays are becoming more feminine. They're becoming more feminine because the society is creating this type of man that is not allowed to exercise his masculinity. They're creating this type of man who's not allowed to actually use what he has biologically. He's not allowed to. He's just supposed to shut the fuck up and whatever women say, deal with it. That's why that whole term, happy wife, happy life, no. Fuck that. Fuck that. Happy life, happy wife, happy life. No. Because a lot of the time, we know as men, women aren't ever going to be happy. You can give the woman the whole world, she'll ask you why you didn't wrap the moon too. Right? There are certain women out there. So a woman can't ever be happy a lot of the time. A woman will ask for X, Y, and Z. You'll give her X, Y, and Z. And she'll say, you know what, that was a little bit boring. That was a little bit too much. As a matter of fact, you've done too much for me. It's like you can't win in these days and times with this modern woman. You can't win. They will tell you they want this, that, and that. They will get this, that, and that. They say they want a nice guy, a caring guy, a guy that's more in tune with his emotions, etc., etc. They'll get that guy. Then they'll say, oh, he's too nice. He's a little bit too soft. You know what? He's got no edge to him. That's what you asked for. That's what you asked for. So in these days and times, I've stopped believing women's stories, guys. I'm not going to lie. And that is not to say that there aren't women out there going through certain situations, because there are. But so why do you think this generation of women are so entitled compared to the past generation? Because feminism, Harp MX, because feminism has told them they can have it all. No one can have it all. I can't have it all. No one can have it all. Feminism has told women you can have it all. You can have a job, success, you go out there and do your shit. You can have the man that you want. You can control your man. You can be independent at the same fucking time as actually having a husband and children. I don't know how the fuck that works, but yeah, you can be independent at the same time while having a husband and children, and you can do what the hell you want and no one can tell you shit because you got girl power, girl. Yeah, girlfriend. That's why this new generation of women are so fucking entitled. They believe that they can get and have anything that they want. You can't. No one can. Men realize this. Men know they've got the shit that we got to work our asses off to fucking get that shit. Women have been told you can just get it. Women have things like pretty privilege. Everyone knows about pretty privilege, okay? There are women that are just commercially pretty. You can kind of get away with certain things that other quote-unquote commercially pretty women couldn't get away with. And so a lot of the time, these women who are commercially pretty and have been given things because they are attractive, they start to internalize this. Oh my God, I'm pretty. I can get anything I want. If I just batter my eyelids and just be pretty and put on my makeup and do my hair, I can actually get quite a great deal. And that's true. It happens. But that only works for a certain amount of time. That only works for a certain amount of time, folks. Hang on. Hey, bro. I've been watching your vids, debates, and now I'm pleased to catch you live. I'm grabbing a seat and joining in. All right, join in, man. Like, share, subscribe, folks. Like, share, subscribe. Share this whole thing. Donate if you can donate. Let's get this fucking channel popping. Like I keep telling people, the podcast is coming soon, probably in the new year. Okay, we've done our tests. We've shot the promo. Like, we are ready. We are bringing truth objectively. We're bringing rationale. We're bringing reason to the people. This is what we are doing with the podcast. So we are coming for all the podcasters in 2022. Trust me. You're checking the wrong type of woman, my guy. But those fragile tames seem to work for a particular type of woman. There was a time You understood that. No, the thing is, for me, the women that I'm with aren't those type of women. I would just say, like, I had a woman like that, but I don't generally, I don't allow myself to be around women like that. I can quickly kind of, gauge whether or not you're an X type of woman. But it happens to a lot of men. It's happening. A lot of guys I know, a lot of guys I don't know. The stories are out there. Do you know what I mean? And these stories that women tell, they're getting more and more imaginative. They're getting more and more imaginative. Why are you blocking opposing opinions? That can't be me, mate. I welcome opposing opinions. Music is definitely to blame, but as an adult man, I can't blame brainwashing the music. We should know better. Say hi to Big Bro and Gary whenever you see them. You guys are great. Thank you very much. I will do. I told a woman I would take a bullet for her. She said, that's what I'm afraid of. Like, what more do you want? Listen, I'm telling you, the stories that women tell, like, they tell such elaborate stories. And most of the time, they're telling it to their other girlfriends. And I said this on another video. I said, when women tell each other stories, they only tell each other stories for comfort. They don't tell each other stories for truth. They just tell each other stories for comfort. It's just that simple. They don't tell each other the truth. And so their stories get more and more elaborate because other women are like, yeah, you know what? I totally understand. You know what I mean? I totally get it. And no one's checking them. Like, no one's checking these women and their stories. It's like they're just allowed to just exaggerate everything. Everything was the man's fault. He was abusive. He was toxic. He was narcissistic. He was all of these things. It's like, yeah, but what were you? You were just always the innocent one. You were always the one that was just like sunshine and rainbows and lollipops and butter wouldn't melt in your mouth. Like, come on, like, let's just be honest. Do you know what I mean? Some women like toxic men. Some women, so there's this saying, she said, oh, she's for the streets. Listen, some men are for the excuse me. Some men are for the streets. Some men are for the streets. And women see those guys for the streets and run right along with him. And then when he shows that he's for the streets, then they start complaining, oh my God, he was abusive and he was toxic. But you saw that. You saw that from the get-go. Why all of a sudden now are you acting like the innocent? Like, oh my God, he was toxic and he was abusive and he was narcissistic. You saw what this guy was doing. You were attracted to that. And now you want to play victim. Sorry. Not on my watch. Not on my watch at all. Do you know what I mean? Not on my watch. You got to take accountability for the men that you choose. I've got to take accountability for the women that I choose. I do. I've got to vet them properly, and I've got to say, do you know what? Okay, cool. I'm going to go with this one. I take accountability, and this is the thing. Men are so used to taking accountability, and the women ain't. Which is why their stories get more and more elaborate when you don't believe them. They start pouring on more and more tears. It wasn't that he was, that he pushed her. It was that he punched her. It wasn't that he punched her. It was that he gave her a suplex. It wasn't that he gave her a suplex. It was he ran a car over her. It wasn't that he ran a car over her. Do you know what I mean? And these stories get more and more elaborate the more and more they don't get believed. I'm not here for it. I'm really not here for it. My baby mum called me abusive. We was engaged. I have tons of messages of her saying how lucky she is. Well, this is the thing, because women get believed. I keep telling people, women get believed. Yeah, they just, like, it's just like it's an automatic thing. If a woman says yes, that's the answer, yes. If a woman says she was abused, yes, she was abused. If a woman says she was with a narcissistic man, yes, she was with a women just get believed. If a man says, you know what, I was with a narcissistic woman, they're like, come on, bro, like, really? But nowadays, there are a lot of women becoming absolutely nuts. Off their fucking face with entitlement, off their head with the crazy psychopathic behavior. I said, I myself, this is when I was 21. This is when I first saw what a crazy toxic woman look like? I was 21 and I was at a friend's house and he had a child with a woman. She was also 21. We were all 21. And one day, we're all playing PlayStation. There's 21-year-olds do. And there's a knock at his door, okay? And he goes up and he comes back down into the house with his son in a baby basket. I said to him, "Oh, what's your son doing here? Did you, were you babysitting? Were you taking care of your son today?" He said, "No, I just opened my door and my son was on my doorstep in a baby basket." And I said, "Wow, that's a bit crazy." 2 minutes later, for some reason, he knew something wasn't right. He looked out his back window and at his car, the mother of his child had the windscreen wiper in her hand and she was just like bending that shit. She was kicking his car. He ran out the house. I ran out the house after him. She was going nuts. Fuck you. She took like a stone, tried to smash his window. And I'm just like, this is fucking nuts. And do you know what the ice on the cake was for me? She, as he was trying to resist her, she was spitting in his face. She was saying, "Go on then, hit me then, hit me. And I was just like, this is fucking crazy. And then he did. He picked her up and he threw her on the ground. And you will never, ever see. That's when I saw aggressor turn into victim like this. She was like, "Oh my God, I can't believe you done this. Oh my God." And she just played the victim. And I was like, you were just going mad like a banshee, like a Tasmanian devil. But all of a sudden you're the victim. That's when I was like, man, I don't know. I don't know about these stories, folks. Because she would go back and say, "Oh, my son's father doesn't look after his child and he's this and he's that." And it's like, yo, what the fuck are you doing? Women and their stories. My ex-wife threw our baby when our baby was 2 months old. The police and our relatives don't believe me. Don't worry, bro. I believe you because I've seen some crazy shit. Trust me. I've seen some crazy shit. It's even spread into men's schools. I'm in 7th grade and I got accused of rape. Then you can't fight a woman since I was in school. Listen, guys, you see that whole rape thing? It's I'm just saying for guys to protect themselves. Read the room. Listen, I've been on dates, yeah, and been in situations with women where a woman has probably thought, what's wrong with this guy? Why is he not trying to make a move? Or why is he not trying to... But what I'm thinking is, if I make a move and she doesn't like it, I don't have time for the backlash. I don't have time for it. Do you know what I mean? So it's just like, things have got to be like, it's a very weird time we're in. It's like you got to have consent. Like, it's like you got to have consent or some shit. To like, you got to read the room right. Do you know what I mean? It's just like, but that's the times we're living in. That is the times we're living in. William Nunes, are you gay? No, I'm not gay. Make women sign forms. But it's getting to that point. It's like, we are going to have a casual sexual relationship right now. Is that okay? Here's a contract. Can you sign? That's the times we're getting to, because the things that women are accusing men of nowadays, and men can be seen as the aggressor, it's crazy. What we saying? Y'all got to make a contract and make her sign it. A real man makes the first move. Okay. Listen, I don't disagree with you there, generally. Like, because as a guy, I will make a first move. But because we're living in such weird times now, it's like, you have to second guess yourself. You're like, am I reading this right? Is the flirting right? Okay, cool. I'm feeling this type of energy. Yeah, all right. You got to kind of second guess yourself right now. Mother of my kids had me removed from the family home by calling the police and lying to them on the phone while in my presence. She truly deserved an Oscar for that performance, says Anton Gaming. Bro, I've been there. because women will be believed. The stories that women tell, they will be believed because let's be honest, guys. And you might not know, in the UK, every 3 days, one woman dies from domestic abuse. Every 3 days, one woman dies from domestic abuse. And that's a very serious statistic. So I understand why these things are taken seriously. My point is, not every instance of quote unquote domestic abuse is actually domestic abuse. Do you know what I mean? But I understand why it's taken so seriously. So guys, we got an uphill struggle. We got an uphill struggle. I feel like a UK guy can come to the States and bag women just off their accent alone. Man, don't let me tell you when I was in New York in 2017, man. No, I'm joking. The solution to join is to join the Men Married Blow Up Doll Committee. No, I can't do blow up dolls, guys. Come on. I used to in touch with Gary. Yeah, I speak to Gary all the time. Great for you, neighbours. Bro, did you get your bike back? That's funny. I got my bike back the same day it was taken, mate. Trust me. Don't you worry about that. What we saying now? Sarah, what do you think about after divorce, men have to pay money to women? We live in modern era. Women works too. Right. So here's an anecdotal piece of evidence for you. Like when I broke up with my son's mother, we were co-parenting. So I had him 3 days of the week and she had him 4 days of the week. And that's literally co-parenting. My son was at my house half the week. He was at her house half the week. But prior to that, I was giving her some money, right? But according to law, if two parents are actually co-parenting, no one owes anyone any money. If on your side, you're taking care of your child on your side, and she's taking the care of the child on her side, and it's split down the middle, no one owes anyone any money. So I didn't know this. So I was given money each month, etc., etc. And so when I clocked on, I was like, oh, I'm not supposed to be giving you any money by law because I've got my son half the week. All right, no more money for you. Who told me to say that? That's when you started realizing you do shit for money. Because then it was like, oh, you can't have him this day. You can't have him that day. You can only have him then. And so they started, I don't know what parent wants a child to shorten their time with their child just for money. That's when you realize this whole child support situation is just about money. Because if you literally have a parent taking care of the child half a week, what do I owe you? What do you owe me? You don't owe me anything as a woman. I don't owe you anything as a man. I'm taking care of my child. The food, the shelter, the clothing, everything is half of it is me. So what do I have to give you? Why do I have to give you money? Listen, Crypto, please stop calling me Sarah. That's really not my name. It's Sarah. It's two separate words. Please, come on. Respect shown. I was a single father when my son was 6 months. Mum didn't have to pay child maintenance, but when dad had another child, he has to pay maintenance even though he doesn't see that child. It's crazy, bro. William Nunes, like, what is your actual problem? Are you here to just hate? Fuck it, hell. How insecure? It's not insecure at all. It's my name. If I kept on calling you something other than your name, you'd be like, yo, that's not my name, bro. Like, I don't get that. It's my name. Please say my name right. Spell my name right. It's my name. It has meaning. My name has a meaning. The name Sarah means absolutely nothing. It's not me. My name has meaning. Please. I'm new here. Notice William has an agenda. It's really weird. Yeah, it is really weird. What do you think of when someone divorced and the kids are involved in co-parenting? Does not exist. This happens in Japan. I tell you what's very interesting. After a divorce or a separation, I think they say it's about 2 years after separation, a lot of men walk away from their children. And that's not necessarily because they don't, it's not because of, the fact that they broke up with the mother. It's a lot of the time the games that's being played. It's a lot of the time the loopholes and the manipulation that a lot of men are just not, are just not good. Someone says men need to use the courts too. Let me tell you something, African science. I use the courts, and the family court is so heavily skewed towards women, it's unbelievable. It's so unbelievable the way if you go to the family court in Holborn, yeah, you will see how heavily, you won't even see a man in there unless it's a security guard. I'm telling you, this family court system is so heavily skewed towards women, it is unbelievable. It's unbelievable. So, people say to use the courts and stuff, but the courts are when it comes to family court in the UK, it's so heavily skewed towards women. You will not know until you've actually been into the family court system. You won't understand. Because women get believed. The stories I could tell, folks. When will your law firms get that nation building content instead of a woman bashing? Just your new lane, asking for a friend. I'm not woman bashing. However, yeah, nation building content, or let's say clan building content, is coming on the podcast. Trust me when I say that, because we need the whole team together to give their input into how to build your clans. So yeah, we're writing a book. It's a whole thing. When the podcast comes, guys. Hi, Sarah. Watched your video recently on the Dad's podcast. Well done for standing up and doing the right thing. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, bro. I can't listen to your misogyny. Misogyny? But you're here. This isn't misogyny. And do you know what I love? I love people that say, oh, I don't like you. I don't listen to you, but you're here. It's like, do you know how many millions of channels there are on the internet? Do you know how many millions of pages there are on the internet? But you took your time to come over here to tell me that you don't want to listen. So what are you doing here? You're just totally contradicting yourself. Change the channel. Fuck's sake. Exactly. Thank you, Will Campbell. No one is forcing you to be here. It's very weird. Hang on. How often do you stream? When I decide to. The courts are stuffed. Activists become lawyers, and then activists become judges. I mean, you got to realize, people, it was only a few years ago, right, that Fathers for Justice was formed as an organization. And Fathers for Justice, you just got to think about this. Fathers for Justice had men dressing up in superhero uniforms, scaling Buckingham Palace. Now, to scale Buckingham Palace, where the Queen is, you're asking to be shot. You're asking to die. Because you don't just scale Buckingham Palace. Do you know what I mean? And that's normal. Like, people will think that you're a credible threat to the Queen, and they will shoot you, they will kill you. But these men took it upon themselves to scale Buckingham Palace. And now you have to ask yourselves, what would make men do that, risk their lives to scale Buckingham Palace to tell people that fathers need justice? It's because fathers don't get justice. Generally, fathers do not get justice in this court system. And and it is a damn shame. It is a damn shame. Looks like marrying in any country is bad. I'm a guy from the UK, divorced a Japanese lady. She took my kid without telling me. Apparently, child abduction is legal in Japan. Man, listen. Mate, I'm sorry, bro. What do you think about abortion and the fact that men cannot contest a woman's choice to keep the baby? I've spoken about this many times. My body, my choice is a very interesting term. My body, my choice means that you have 100% responsibility for that child. When you say my body, my choice, you're saying my child. That's what you're saying. Okay, cool. It's your child then. Go ahead. Have the child. If a man decides to say that, have the child then. Sure. I don't want it, but you have it. So then when you have it, then you're coming back to the father saying, oh, you're a deadbeat. You're not looking after it. Hang on. We made this child 50-50. You told me the child was yours 100. So go ahead. Take care of it 100. Right? No. It doesn't go like that. Because this whole world, this Western world, is skewed towards women. So heavily skewed. Listen, I'm pro-life in general anyway. So I don't really agree with abortions unless in like crazy circumstances like rape and abuse, because I don't believe any one woman should be allowed or should keep a rapist baby. I don't think, sex is a consensual act. You had sex non-consensually, so that child is non-consensual. So I understand in that instance why a woman would want to abort a child, but generally, I'm not about aborting children. Bum. Women often abuse the system, knowing the primary opinion of the court is to keep the mother with his child. Yep, that's very true. Listen, a woman has to damn near be strangling her child and caught in the act of strangling her child for that child to be removed from her care. To remove a child from a mother's care, a woman has to be a properly delinquent parent. Whereas guys don't get that, they're not afforded that same privilege. Do you know what I mean? If a guy's got a child and something happens to the child, they'll be like, oh, it's the father and he's a bit weird. But the mothers can be totally abusive to that child and still have the child. That's what the whole Victoria Columbier case, showed. Do you know what I mean? Social services act as if there aren't toxic mothers and crazy mothers out there. They act as if there aren't. There are a lot. And a lot of mothers abusing their children. And they don't get called abusers. Men get called abusers, but women never get called abusers. Also, YouTube algorithm likes my opposing opinion. Have we got any mods in here? The solution is going to be made for us, avatars. Anyway, folks, I think I'm done with the women's stories. Will you ever invite Gary onto the Black Opinion? Yeah, man, Gary's invited, man. Gary's a very busy man, folks. Trust me, for those who know who Gary is. Yeah, so I'm reading all those comments. For anyone that knows who Gary is, yeah, Gary is all right, William Nunes, no backbone, coward, blah, blah, blah. Fucking hell. Bro, is that what you're doing on the internet all day? Just talk shit. What have you got going on in your regular life while you are here doing shit? Afraid of a gay guy. Bro, I don't know you're a gay guy, and I'm not afraid. So where did that come from? Folks, let me tell you something about internet trolls, right? I've been social commentating for, mate, 8 years. And I'm telling you, the internet troll, yeah, there needs to be a book written on the psychology of an internet troll. Because I need to understand what the average psychology of an internet troll is, because I have had so many in this 8 years that and a lot of the time I'm looking at them wondering, what is wrong with you? Like, what's going on in your psychology? What is going on in your life that has got you literally, they make fake profile accounts just to talk shit and blah. It's like, why would you take such time and effort out to do that? Like, is your life really that boring that you would do that? Do you know what I mean? It's like there's positive conversation, there's critical, analytical conversation, and then there's just trolling. Do you know what I mean? And it's just like, I don't know. I think maybe one day I'll write a book on the psychology of the internet troll. Maybe. How can you tell he's a coward when you're talking shit behind a keyboard? This is it. This is it. This is it. Their psychology is all fucked. Like, the skew of the world is like, sorry, the way of the world is all skewed, and they believe anything that they say, and you're always a bad person and they're always the one on the right, and then they laugh after their comment as if it's funny. It's weird. Like, there's a lot of weird people, folks. There's a lot of weird people on the internet, okay? When you see me, like, people can see me. Do you know what I mean? They know who I am. They know my views, know my opinions. I don't have to troll anyone. People that actually have to troll someone wouldn't say 90% of the shit that they say online in the person's face. They just wouldn't. Because they're fucking cowards. They keep calling other people cowards, but they're the real coward. Do you know what I mean? Because they wouldn't say this shit to my face. Then they start talking shit like, oh, meet me at so-and-so. Oh, you know what? I'll send you my location. It's just like, no, you wouldn't. You say that, but you're a fucking idiot. Do you know what I mean? Anywho, on that note, I hope you lot enjoyed the live. Thank you all for joining. Thank you all for all the people who actually donated. Like I said before, like, share, and subscribe on this shit. The podcast is coming. Listen, when the podcast comes, you guys need to share that shit. Like, you know, like, you need to just do that. You know, we need to make this channel the next biggest one. We're on 61,000 subscribers now. Let's get that up to 100. Yeah? 100,000 to 500,000 to 1 million. Guys, let's put truth, objectivity, facts, rationale, and reason. Let's put that back in the forefront. Okay? Let's put that at the forefront of people's minds. Yeah, please. Instead of this sensationalist bullshit that's going on nowadays, and people are just doing shit for likes and doing shit for clout. Let's get the nation, let's get people back thinking. I want people to start thinking, start being critical, start being analytical. Even if you disagree, come back with an analytical and concise argument, and then we can have the conversation. That's what I want. That's what I want people to do. Like, I don't want people to just be saying things because it's their opinion. Sarah, did you watch Muhammad Hijab taking off his shirt at the rally against China? I did. It's very interesting because that guy with that speech literally just put himself on the watch list of every major intelligence service. I mean, I laugh, but it's like Mossad are now watching you, FBI now watching you, you know, MI5 watching your ass. Like, he was talking like he wanted to go to war with China. I was just like, bro, I don't know, mate. Like, that's your business. If that's what you want to do, you're going to be being watched like a hawk now, my friend. We get the sorrow we enjoy back. What do you mean you don't enjoy me? I'm air, bruv. You can get in contact with me, says Dissect Minds. You can get in contact. Can you do shows with Big Bro sometime? I'll always do shows with Big Bro. That's what the podcast is going to be. Come on, man. Go through my content, man. Big Bro will be here. Trust me. Listen. The bottom line is, guys, so yeah, if you want to get in contact with me, you follow me on Instagram, follow me on Facebook, follow me on Twitter. I answer my inbox messages on those 3 platforms. So if you, Sarah Garvey. On Instagram, I'm Sarah Garveyite on Instagram. They've shadow banned me on Instagram, by the way, so you have to type in my whole name. You know what I mean? You have to type Sarah Garvey Ite. So SARA underscore Garvey Ite, ITE. So yeah, you have to really Eluga. Hang on. Eligua, please. My name is Sarah, not Sarah. Please, I beg. Like, please. Guys. My name has a meaning. You lot are butchering my name and it's not even that hard. Like, seriously, my name isn't that hard. It's two separate words. Sa space Ra. You lot are butchering my name out in these streets, mate. Yeah, my name has meaning. It means son of the sun. That is my name. I beg. Stop calling me Sarah. That's a whole woman's name. It ain't got nothing to do with me. Okay? Please. I beg. SA space RA. Yeah? You lot are butchering my name out in these streets. Fuck it hell. Right. Folks, enjoy yourself. I've got to go. You lot give me joke. The Wind Dragon of Ra coming for you trolls. Exactly. Son of the sun, motherfuckers. Okay? Son of the motherfucking sun. As you can see from the melanin content in my skin, I am indeed a son of the sun. You know what I'm saying? Thank you. There you go. That's how you spell my name. Well done. Thank you very much. That's what we want. Please. SA space RA. Yeah. God bless you all, guys. Whatever God you believe in. Because, you know, I don't believe in any of them. So, God bless you all. Have a great day. Have a great week. Even the trolls, God bless you all. Yeah. You know, God bless you all. Even though you're fucking taking time out to come and be a fucking dumbass. I hope you find the happiness that you deserve. Yeah, and you can stop being dumb on the internet. Hopefully. Hopefully. Peace, family. Peace. Serena Anne Marie, goodbye.